Oh.
We're going. Here comes my cough. Gary Priest, if I can make it through this. Here comes a rambling crew, Jerry, Eddie, Cody too, talking Keek and crushing puss, movies, games, 70s Bush. Here comes a rambling squad, they are the just talking gods, never cheesy, never bore, contract tied to Skeletor. Here comes a rambling team, making all the who is cream. Got all that the greatest nerd chat, the rambles where it's at. I took some liberties since, you know.
Yeah, we gotta mix it up.
Since Gary Priest was like so on time.
Jeeps.
Oh, there we are. Another Ramble Radio. This is I'm sorry, everybody.
If we
this
can
is
survive.
immunotherapy.
What's that? Make it through this Ramble. If we can make it through this Ramble Radio.
It's gonna be like this for like 6 more months. So this is what the immunotherapy has done to me is this fucking cough. We figured it out. And I could go on prednisone steroids, which are the worst fucking thing, which I don't want to do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to go on some cough syrup, see if that helps, so that can build up. And fuck, man, it's a motherfucker, though. But thankfully, it didn't interrupt me at my shows. That was good. There were just moments like that, right, on stage, just a quick. But we are the Ramble, a geek's guide to pop culture. And we are the geeks. I'm comedian, cancer fighter, cougher. Jerry Rocha, right over there we have the one and only
comedian, podcaster. I don't have anything else. What can I?
Mang.
I mean, of course, a Mang. That just goes without saying.
We all know that.
Shampooer of carpets.
There it is, Eddie Pence. You can do us a favor. Subscribe to the Ramble. Give it a 5-star rating and a positive text review. These fucking people.
Oh fuck! Really?
We're just
knowing what you're going through to be here today.
Thank you. Do you know what? This is going to be the guilt trip episode. That's what this is. Eddie, I'm going to guilt trip him. You can email us, ramble@theramblepod.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Podcast Ramble. You see our lovely faces on YouTube at the Ramble Teeb. Go to our TeePublic page, get merch.
Yeah.
I want to thank all the Ramblers who showed up to my show in Houston Saturday night. We had Cordelia. We're rocking a Ramble t-shirt. We had Bienvenue.
Biens.
We had Dahlem.
Dahlem, the legendary Dahlem.
Who else? What else could I have? If there's another Rambler, I better try to
Alt-right Cody showed up, right?
Alt-right. Well, that's the big one. Come on. Alt-right Cody. Couldn't be here, but he was there. And, man. Oh, God. Should I just guilt trip him today for not giving us some 5-star?
Well, you constantly sound like you're Vince McMahon getting ready to announce somebody.
Well, here we go. The Brooklyn Brawler. I would oversell the Brooklyn Brawler right now with my voice the way it is.
Oh, dude. You'd hype him up. You'd be the best hype man ever
for
the Brooklyn Brawler.
Ooh. Now, Eddie, can I tell you about my trip?
Please, let us know.
I don't know when I'll be doing something like this again, where I had to be in one town one night and then drive to another city the other night.
The old one-nighters, as us in the biz call it. The old one-nighters.
Used to be a lot of fun. Used to be a hell of a lot of fun. If they were good ones.
One-nighters.
These were good gigs, so it was fun, but not when you're going through immunotherapy. So I fly to Laredo, Texas, where my whole family's from. That was awesome. Stayed at, I've stayed in better hotels than the one that they...
Sure. Stayed in your car. You stayed in your car.
Might have been better. Might have been more comfy. I think, like, the military cot that they beat Vincent D'Onofrio with the soap and the socks in Full Metal Jacket was more comfortable than the bed.
Along with the blanket party. May have been.
So, after the traveling,
sure,
I get in a night early. Get in the hotel. And so far, the immunotherapy side effects have been easy as shit.
Yeah.
You might feel like you have the fever. Hadn't happened to me yet. And then I lie down to go to bed in this fucking hotel room. And the fucking AC doesn't really work. And the bed's super uncomfortable. So I just am tossing and turning, covered in sweat all fucking night. Don't really sleep. Wake up the next day, see some family. Go do the show, right? Because Eddie, we're mangs.
Mangs.
And
Mangs do what Mangs do.
Shopped for toys. Went to
course,
the old
like a
Target
Mang.
I used to drag my mom to see if they had anything. They didn't. I was upset, but hey, it happens. And then went and did the show. Had a great time. Saw family. It was fucking awesome.
Sure.
The people I met, they were fucking great. The Laredo Selfie Museum was fucking killer. Great show. Thank you to them. Thank you to Laredo Funny. Then I'm thinking, Eddie, I'm going to sleep like a motherfucker tonight. Right? I'm sleeping
Crash hard.
like a motherfucker.
Right.
Get to my hotel room. Same shit. Sweating, tossing, turning.
Now, you're saying that the accommodations weren't the best. Was it a combination of the accommodations plus the side effects of the immunotherapy? Because you think if you didn't have the immunotherapy side effects, it wouldn't have been so bad.
It still would have sucked, but it wouldn't have been as bad. But I realized number one important thing on immunotherapy is get rest.
Right.
Get rest. And I was doing none of that. And so now, dude, I'm pretty sure I was running a fever the first 2 nights. I had to wake up at 7 a.m. to go pick up my rental car at the airport to drive a 5-hour drive to Houston.
Right.
I can't sleep. I'm just lying in bed until 8:30. I don't give a. And then I call the company like, yeah, you have all day to pick up the car. I'm like, fuck it. I make it there at like 9 o'clock, 9:30. Okay. Get the car, start the 5-hour drive to H-Town. And then, of course, I got to shit every fucking hour and a half. You got a wave of Borgs hit you. Just all over all these fucking Christian truck stops. God damn, that stupid fucking Buc-ee's, that dumb fucking MAGA beaver, just fucking shit all over those fucking places. Like an hour and a half. So it took me like 9 hours. The 8-hour drive was like the 5-hour drive was like 8. And I let me tell you something about Texas though.
Yeah.
I saw some family, went to eat at a restaurant before the show in Laredo.
Right.
Walked in, open air. Like it was like 3 businesses in one. Like you walk in, right? It was like, but the restaurant was like off to the side. And then I didn't notice it was in the middle. And then to the left was like a woman's boutique. Okay. Cool. Okay. Food is fucking unbelievable. The place was actually called Roaches. I think I might actually be a distant cousin of the owner. We talked. He was a real nice guy.
Maybe see if you can get a little piece of that action.
Get a little fucking that empire waiting for me. And then I see this dude walking in with a fucking shotgun. Oh. And just, Eddie. And it has his T-shirt says the ATF is gay. He looked about what you would expect for something like that, right?
Yeah, I have a mental image.
It's absolutely correct. And I'm like, what the fuck? And my road like, no. There's a shooting range. That's what's in the middle. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. This fucking place. All right.
He has a shotgun? Why are you going to a shooting range with a shotgun? What's the point of that?
I think he just wanted to show like all the other guys who secretly jerk off to guns, right? Like,
what the fuck is the point of going to a shooting range with a shotgun?
I think just to jerk off to it. Like, hey, isn't this a beauty? And then they all kind of come on it, and then
is he doing like skeet shooting? Well, that makes sense if you're doing skeet shooting.
I don't think would do. Could you do skeet shooting indoor?
I don't know.
I think he was just showing off his brand new shotgun to his only friends that he's going to accidentally murder. While
I wish my dick was that small. Sometimes I do wish.
Because then you could just embrace so many stupid things and be okay with it. You could just be like, well,
there'd be an excuse to embrace so many
fuck
yeah things.
Oh, you know what? Let's rate how hot chicks are. Okay, yeah, sure. Why don't you? Like it was now fictional comic book and video game chicks. Well, that's a whole nother story.
That's way different.
That's a whole nother story.
That's so much different. It's not even close.
So I'm freaking out. I'm like, am I throwing a plate at this motherfucker? Everything's fine. And then, so I wake up. I start driving to Houston. It's a fucking nightmare, the drive. Eddie, I felt like I had the flu the entire time. I think I had a fever. I didn't have anything to test it. Didn't want to stop and buy anything. I just want to go. But of course, me being me and this being the Ramble, in a small town in Texas, very small town, found a few junk shops.
There you go.
And I'm like, oh, nothing. Struck out. What hurt, though?
Nothing?
Nothing. The one I walked into, I go, do y'all have any old video games? And this old lady goes, oh, my son just sold us some. But I'm gonna get them till tomorrow, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo. I'm like, you motherfuckers. Tomorrow, when I'm gone, when I'm getting, I was like, oh, all right, well, thank you. But look, it was 4 much older white people.
Yeah.
And they all looked like the kind of people who would harass a guy trying to get like Black Lives Matter petition signatures during like a parade. Right? They all just had that. And I thought, I'm not going to judge a book by its cover. Maybe these are wonderful people.
Do it. Yeah.
And so there was a guy there, and he goes, "Oh, tomorrow you can come back." I'm like, no, I'm actually driving. I'm headed back home. "Oh, where's home?" And I said, "Well, it's Dallas originally, but I live in California, Ladera Ranch." He goes, "Oh, wow. I just moved here from Fullerton, my wife and I, in this shithole small town." And I was like, "Oh, okay." "Newsom! Bet you know what I'm talking about." And I'm like, oh, boy. Right. Yeah, I'm going to fucking move 2,000 miles to some fucking shithole because I'm afraid of the guy. Get the
fuck. Some fucking governor who has no impact on your life.
And I was just like, oh, all right, man. I just said, hey, good for you, man. And I was just like leaving. And the guy had, like, he was telling a story. I think if I had stayed, it was going to get really racist. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It was gonna get. But
I'm not. You ain't one of those. I'm not racist,
but, and then he had a wooden forearm, right?
Oh,
with like hooks, and
sure.
I just want and he just,
Newsom.
I wanted to say that. I'm like, did he chop it off? Why are you so mad? But I'm like, all right, fuck it. Let me just get out of here. Struck out. I go to Houston, do the show. It was fucking great. A lot of fun, man. It was really cool. And then I had some family come to that show, had some friends. Cody got to hang with a bunch of peeps. And then my buddy Jim from high school happened to be in town. And we hung out, and he's driving me to the hotel. It's like 10:30 at night. And Eddie, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to do it. I don't have to get up until 7 in the morning. So I'm actually going to get like a halfway decent night's sleep here.
There you go. Yeah.
And because I had to return the rental car at 7:30. My flight out of Houston was at 9:05 a.m.
Right.
I go to the fucking hotel. I'm already exhausted. I feel like shit. Still feel like I have the flu. And I go to bed, Eddie, and I can't sleep. And I'm sweating, and I'm tossing, and I'm turning like, how the fuck? And it was one of those shitty fucking hotels where they put the AC unit right underneath the window. So all it does is just make the curtains into fucking sails for a sailboat. And it doesn't actually blow any cold. Like that little area behind those curtains. Oh my God.
Freezing cold.
Freezing. Heaven. Everything else. So I was like, you gotta be fucking, at this point it's 3 a.m. And I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, look, I'm the last room on this row. Who's going to peep in? It was a motel, obviously. So just open up the curtain. Like, fuck it. I'm just going to leave the window. Who's going to fucking come in? Where he's going to look?
Right.
I'm just going to go to bed. It's 3 in the fucking morning. And then finally the room gets fucking beautifully cold.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, thank God. I fall asleep. I wake up and I'm like, okay, 4 hours. That's not bad, right?
Not bad. Yeah.
I look at my phone. It's 8:17 in the morning, and my alarm's going off. I didn't hear it go off at all. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, fuck me. It's Ferris Bueller's Day Off time, right? I'm like, shit. I don't know how I didn't forget anything. I packed up everything, got in my rental car, gassed it up, sped down to the airport. And by the time I dropped off the rental car and got on the shuttle and walked into the airport, it was like 8:58. Wow. And I'm like, I got TSA pre, the airport was dead. I'm like, if I sprint, and I talked to a Southwest attendant right when I got there before I started sprinting. And I'm like, oh, no, the doors have already shut. They probably shut like 10 minutes ago. I'm like, fuck. Okay. Because boarding time was like 8:20 or whatever, right? And I'm like, fucking mother, you gotta be kidding me. So I go.
Yeah.
Still feeling like shit. I go to the teller at the ticket counter, and I explain everything that's going on. And the guy's like, well, we can put you on standby, which means you'll be the first in line to maybe get a ticket if there's an open one on your first flight. So my flight was at 9:05. The next one was at 12:55. Same thing, Phoenix to Orange County from Houston.
Right.
And he goes, you get to Phoenix, And you get to Orange County. I think I was going to get home at like 125 originally. Now it'll be like 350. Okay. So I was like, it's not bad. And so I'm like, okay, well, what happens? Because right now there's like 35 tickets for Houston and Phoenix. So you'll get on that one on standby.
Right.
And he goes, but in Phoenix, there's only 8 tickets. And you have to repeat standby all over again. I'm like, fuck.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, how much would it cost to pay and guarantee the seat on the flight, right?
Yeah.
He's like, it's gonna be like $315. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So I step aside to call Andrea, and we're both like, fuck it, just do it. The flight home I had gotten free from Miles on Southwest. Right. So I was like, okay, it's like I just paid for both flights, even though I thought I was lucky, didn't have to. Right. So as I'm walking back to him, he jumps over the counter and goes, I got to pee, man. And I'm like, okay, do I wait for you? He goes, no, you can talk to anybody. I'm like, okay. This woman working the ticket counter, someone leaves and she looks at me, big smile. Come here, sweetie. I'm like, okay, walk over there. I'm like, hey, I explained to her everything, right? And she's like, yeah, I sadly, I think the best thing to do would just be to buy it, right? And you get on. Right. And I'm like, and I was just making small talk, like, how's your day going? Cracking her up, all that kind of shit. And she was very nice. And then she goes, I go, look, I have an issue. I know it's too late to get an early boarding for this flight. Right. But, like, I have half a rectum. So I'm like, I need an aisle seat because of my cancer. Like, if I have to use the bathroom, I have to go, and I don't want to disrupt people on my row. You know what I mean? It's getting back, up and again, and again. And she goes, oh, no, I totally understand. I'm going to get you a pre-board. I'm like, whoo, all right.
All right.
She print up some boarding.
Has its perks.
Eddie. She prints up the boarding passes. And I go, I take out my credit card. She goes, have a great flight, sweetie. I was like, what? She goes, you're all good. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm like,
she just gave you a flight.
She gave me a fucking flight. I was like, do you want me to stay here? Just get behind the counter and fuck with, like, help you fight the annoying customers? She was laughing. She was like, no.
Just, right now?
Right. Eat your pussy right here for everybody. Fuck. It's fucking, I'll eat that shit all day. I'll eat that shit in front of your husband. Show him how to do it. You know what I mean? Like, show him how it's done.
Wow.
So it was, and then I get home last night and not feeling well, still feeling really run down. The travel fucking killed me. And bro, like at 10 o'clock at night last night, I was running a 102 fever. Brock Lesnar. I was running a 102 fucking fever. Right. And I'm like, oh my God. So I went today, got tested. No flu, no COVID. It's just immunotherapy, which is bad. But at least it's not flu or COVID.
Right.
So I can't believe I got through this fucking ramble, Eddie.
That's a great.
Ramble radios aren't easy to do, man.
No, they're not.
They're not easy to do. They're not.
No, they're not. No, they're
and
not.
And then you throw this on top of it. Fuck. Yeah. I'm just like
one bit of
Peter
nerd
Boyle.
business.
I'm like Peter
one
Boyle
bit of nerd
in Young
business.
Frankenstein.
One bit of nerd business in the ramble.
I'm sorry for hijacking this.
No, but I just want to give the ramblers a little bit of nerd talk before we sign off here. I just started reading. I remember. I think I read it when it first came out. I'm reading Secret Wars from 2015.
Oh,
which is what I believe I heard
they're going to base this shit on, right?
They're pulling a lot from Russo from that Secret Wars. I guess some from the original Secret Wars in the 80s, but a lot from 2015.
Well, this one was so much better done, so much more well.
Oh my God!
And
the first one was just a fucking insanity. But
wouldn't this be a cool toy, kids? Hey, kids, wouldn't this be a cool toy? Oh, what about this? How's this for a cool toy?
There's no point to this, but it's a cool toy.
It's a cool toy, huh?
But this one, it's just fucking with. It's got it's all God Emperor Doom. It's just
right. He's like the main villain, right?
Oh yeah, he's the most powerful
the big bad.
being ever. He's the big bad. He's got an army of Thors that police his worlds. Every domain is run by different people. Like Mr. Sinister has his own domain, and the Thors are basically the police force for
Doom.
God Emperor Doom, and it's just fucking and then like I forgot, I think it was Captain Britain. I don't know if it's Captain Britain. I forgot who it was. Did something wrong, so Doom sentenced him to the Shield, which is this area where Doom single-handedly built this massive shield to protect from what's outside the shield. And when you get sentenced, you have to basically jump into that unknown abyss. And he has this Captain Britain helmet on. He strikes up his sword like that, and he's gonna die. All you hear is his voice is like, "I'm gonna tear you apart and pass you around to my friends, but I'm gonna save your brain for me." And it's a fucking symbiote, and it's like an army of symbiotes, and then there's an army of Ultrons that are down there. It's like all these different fucking.
Wow.
It's fucking crazy. Like I forgot.
It's on Marvel Unlimited, right? It's on Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, start reading it because it's fucking. It's crazy. It's basically two worlds. There's an incursion happening between two worlds, and there's
it's
Earth
the ultimate.
616.
It's the ultimates, right?
It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate world, and then the regular world, and one of them has to wipe the other one out in order for their world to survive.
Now, this is how Miles came to the MCU, correct?
Yes, he was one of the carryovers from the ultimate.
And in this world, in the ultimate world, Reed Richards is like a full-on villain.
There's two Reeds. There's Reeds in both.
Ultimate
but the one
Reed.
in Ultimate Reed is a full-on villain.
So is he helping God Emperor Doom, or is he?
I don't know because I'm only in issue 2, and I haven't read it probably since it came out, so I don't quite remember what happens. But the first issue deals with the two worlds, the incursion happening, and the two different sets of heroes battling each other. The second issue is just all about God Emperor Doom and his domain and how he runs it. So I'm waiting to see what happens in issue 3.
And do we know what world God Emperor comes from? He's not our Victor Von Doom from.
I don't know yet. But it's basically, it ends with showing Battle World. Like, they're on Battle World. And
now, are there any, is it like a bunch of hey, read these 15 other issues to get the whole story?
I don't know.
Because you're pretty good going.
The first issue starts up mid-incursion. Like, they are battling each other.
Yeah.
So you walk right into it. So there's probably some lead-up issues that walk you into that. But
wow.
It's fucking good. I gotta go back and reread it.
Good shit. Well,
because God Emperor Doom, if Robert Downey Jr. can pull him off halfway as cool as he is in the comics.
Shit. Well,
dude, I wonder if we're gonna get a Thanos where he just rips his fucking skull out.
That would be. That's the opening scene. There it is. Boom. Who's stopping me? Fuck you.
He fucking wipes out Kang and Thanos in one fucking swipe. You're like, okay, well, this guy's serious.
Boom. This is you're my house now. I mean, he kind of is the Michael Jordan of Marvel villains, so it would make sense.
I mean, he's rated as the most, in many different things, he's rated as the most powerful being ever.
Everybody says, I'm the most powerful. Everybody tells me. Nobody can say anything different. Let me tell you this. I hate to do this. It's such a good Ramble Radio 511.
All right. I heard he might be suffering. He might have some flu-like symptoms too.
Oh no, not him.
The producers told me he was suffering a little bit, so hopefully he can make it through. Yeah. Skeletor. We just heard Jerry's awful travels
trip from hell.
Weekend. Road trip from hell. Have you ever had a bad road trip?
Eddie, that's a wonderful question, and I'm glad you asked me that. I'm not feeling too good. Having a road trip right now. I just ended a road trip. It was to find the world's largest pube. And I had my sights set on this. It was my dream, Eddie. The world's largest pube, and I found it. And I just tried to lick it and 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 love it. And I think it's gotten caught in my throat now. It's pretty bad. So I'm kind of just waiting to barf it up. In, the world's biggest pube, by the way. It's about 14 times the size of your Empire State Building. Now you're asking, where would you hide out? In a place big enough to puke something like that out where no one would notice. Oh, yeah, go ahead. You can ask me.
Where?
He-Man's mother's pussy! Because it's so big!
There's just no escape. There's just no
escape.
Fucking escape.
Okay. I could do what Michael Irvin did with the Cowboys and tell you, hey, I'm going to say it's He-Man's mother's pussy. And you still wouldn't get it, but I'm not going to do that. I like the suspense.
There's no suspense.
Cinesnob, Cody? Let's get the Cinesnob podcast on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes. Get alt-right Cody
those
back
wrongs.
up
Get alt-right Cody up there. Eddie, where can all the fine folk find you?
5 days a week, patreon.com, the Ralph Report.
There it is.
Tuesdays, Fridays, Ramble Radio. Wednesdays, Ramble Proper here on the Moderation Network. And then also on Fridays, Not Today with Jen Sturger.
You can find me in the same Ramble locales. You can find Eddie and Cody. I'm also streaming games at Retro Rocha on Kick and Twitch. Just my name on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to the Ramble. 5-star rating, positive text review. Buy from our TeePublic page. We love you all. Stay safe out there. We'll see you tomorrow. If I can make it. At least you have my excuse. Now you know why. All right. We love you guys. Take care, everybody.
Wow.
Oh, look at that shit. Dude, when's Thunderbolts?
May, I think. I think May 2nd.
It's coming right fucking up.
We got like another month.
That ain't long. That's too short,
and
pal.
They're gonna. That's gonna lead into some Doomsday shit with Sentry.
Yes, has to. Like, but does Doom take his power? Like, that's what I wonder. Like he did the Beyonder.
I wonder. Yeah,
Ooh.
I mean, Doom's got to do something to get that power.
Because Sentry,
Did you take it from Sentry?
I wonder, like in a straight up fight, Sentry probably does a pretty good job.
I mean, Sentry's just Superman with fucking mental problems.
Right.
Like,
right.